Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the SlipStream. Today we have a very special episode because it's my favorite game. Yes, I love Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And today, my guests are Soy,
Hey.
Jerry,
Hello.
and Zeke.
Hi.
And yeah, without any further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna cover today is the gameplay part, and this part will contain no spoilers, so if you haven't played the game or you haven't finished it yet, then obviously this part is safe for you. And the first thing I like to just get out of the way, because I know everyone just likes to make fun of this, is the tutorials. Yes, we know they suck. Like, let's just laugh it out now and just move on, okay? Because yes, I like even I say that they suck, and I love this game. I think we can all agree on that they suck.
Feel it's still an important thing to point out because a lot of people play a game and they don't want to look up a guide online on how to play the game, and it's, even though it gets annoying with how many people bring it up, it is brought up a ton because it is one of the weakest factors of the gameplay. And it's prominent to anyone playing a new game.
That's fair. But for me, basically, like if I'm playing a new game, I'm always going to look at a guide, no matter what, pretty much. So
A lot of people
yeah.
don't like doing that. They like coming up with their own strategies without having to look up what other people say to how to play the game.
Yeah, I especially avoid any kind of online content whenever a new Xenoblade game releases, so I don't get spoiled on anything. I just completely go offline on everything until I finish a new Xenoblade game.
Damn, do you guys have a lot more balls than me?
Well, I can say, I remember when I first, when I first started, the combat system actually made sense to me. I went through, and I was like, okay, so this connects to the, and then I connected the dots between the blade combos and the fusion combos and all that kind of fun stuff.
Now,
But,
yeah,
coming up with
I'm sorry. Yeah.
who is best on who, that kind of took me a little bit longer to do because I wasn't straight out of the gate, oh well, I know good old sorry, and I know put all the great axes on Zeke, put all the lances on Rex, put all ether cannons on Zeke, that kind of stuff. I didn't realize that until later when I actually looked into that stuff and New Game Plus or stuff like that.
I think a big problem with that is the game is presented in a way where you think the drivers are the most important part of your team building. And you see that with a lot of new people talking about the game. They're like, oh, what drivers are best? What drivers? I'm like, it's not about what drivers are the best. It's about what blades are the best. Yeah. And then you pair the weapon with the driver that's best with that weapon. But yeah.
Also, most people just fear common blades more than they should.
They fear
blades
common
are
because
extremely useful.
They fear common blades because it's I didn't get my Cosmos this pull. Looks like
And because the game literally has a tutorial that tells you sometimes you'll find a blade that is useless in battle. That's exactly how it words it.
Well, about that,
it's not wrong, but
yeah. Now for me, common blades, I think they're great, but from a yes, they are kind of boring in the way that they look like common blades, but so some of them, they can have very good stats, which are great for I know that there's an orb maker. I forgot the exact name of it. I think it's Elemental Orb Ender or something like that.
Or you're thinking of Orb Master.
Yeah. Or also each blade, it gives you a stat boost modifier, so it'll increase your luck, or your strength, etc. Which like for if you wanna, for example, if you want like Nia to like break more, I'm just saying as an example. So like so you're gonna give her the 2 support blades, which will probably be common blades because they have the chance of having the highest luck. I think it's 24 if I'm correct, or 23.
Well, with luck modifiers specifically, there is no rare blade that has a luck modifier. Only common blades can have that.
Okay, yeah. So there, which proves my point that that they seem, it's like they're very underrated, and it's like they're like it's that kid who's very good at basketball, but he's benched because he's not cool. It's kind of like that kind, sort of.
There's also just the point of sometimes you just early game, like you have a weapon that you want to use on the driver, but you don't have any blades that are of that weapon yet besides commons, and it's like you at least can use the common blades to fulfill that weapon's role.
Mm-hmm.
I know your first blade is a guaranteed common wind, a common wind knuckle claws, and knuckle claws are actually a pretty decent weapon on Rex.
Yes,
and it might be a while before you have another knuckle claws to use on Rex.
True. Yeah. All right. So the next thing I like to talk about is it's actually quite interesting. Now I want you guys to tell me one thing which you did not like about the game, or more, but at least one. Now try to don't say about the tutorial because we already talked about it, but like just something else which you did not like.
Oh, I hate everything about Xenoblade 2.
Oh no.
Yeah, no wonder you're talking about it right now.
Everything.
I think I didn't like how I felt like all the starting blades that you get with like all the starting blades in each driver that you get, I feel like they should have all been, at least decent to use and not feel incredibly bad. I'm looking at Dromark especially because like
Dromark, man.
Dromark is just bad. There's no
bad.
excuse. He's just bad.
Yeah, it's kind of a though he's bad for damage, but I'd argue that like for early on, like healing wise, he's pretty good if from the standpoint of just healing, and which in early on is pretty much needed. Now, yes, I do know you can get the classic metal, but the thing is that
the problem with Dromarch isn't even just that he's a dedicated healer. It's the problem that all 3 of his battle skills are garbage. He doesn't have a single good battle skill. They're all like movement heal. I don't think movement heal is one of them, but he has like damage heal and arts heal, and it's like no one cares about those effects. They're really bad effects. And so even in terms of dedicated healing blades, he's one of the worst.
That's why you use cross-set and you spend money.
Oh boy, yeah.
But does cross-set count as a healer? Let's be real here.
She's a
None
healer
of the best
by
healers.
Yeah, I mean by that logic, even Fiora is a quote-unquote healer. Fiora.
Yeah,
Fiora's a quote-unquote healer. Universe flicker.
Let's universe. Screw away, universe flicker.
I do plan on talking about that afterwards. So let's save that for a little bit later on. But yeah, so
no one going to complain about field skills.
What about you, Jerry?
For what I don't like, honestly, I feel like the only thing I don't really like is the fact that it's a gacha game that doesn't need to be a gacha game. There are already plenty of blades that you can get through other methods besides the gacha system. and it feels like there was no need for it to be a gacha game to begin with. But in terms of the gacha mechanics, I will defend the fact that a lot of the story blades are better than the gacha blades, so you're not really screwed.
Well,
and in terms of field skills, almost all of the field skills that you need are gotten through the story blades, and a few of the ones that you need more of, you can get through guaranteed blades.
Also, like, I think I think it's like Dark Mastery is needed in Chapter 7, like in a spot or two, which you can easily get
all
from a
common
common.
blades have their mastery, so you could easily get a bunch of dark commons.
So now the thing is that I think had they like not rushed the game out for 2017, like maybe for 2018, I'd say I think that was the goal, which they like almost like I think every blade is either given or like it has a story element or a side or a side quest to it, and that's how you do it, and that's how you get them. But unfortunately, Monolith wanted to, or Nintendo, I don't know who, forced them, but or I don't know. But yeah, but basically the game came out, like the game was a bit rushed, so
I don't think anyone was forced. I think gacha mechanics are much more popular in Japan, and they decided to make a gacha game.
Oh, okay.
The one of the things that people do forget is that in Japan, gacha systems are super popular. They get a lot more money, and I'm sure that played a factor into why Xenoblade 2 was a gacha system.
So basically, you're telling me that Japanese people like gambling, sort of.
I guess, but it's definitely not hated on in the same way it's hated on in America.
That I would probably say that it's just more considering how much how there's more variety in terms of game styles from in America, because I'm telling you, we have a lot more first person shooter games. We have a lot more games that are out there than there are in Japan.
I mean,
I can tell you that.
To be fair, Xenoblade 2 is definitely out there in
I think the Xenoblade games are out there because I don't think like any like American I think if you get like a bunch of like American video game company and you put them all in like a press meeting, or not a press meeting, put them all in like a brainstorming session, you just say, all right, we need a new idea for a game, come up with something, and I don't think any of them just sits there and drinks their coffee like, hey, why don't we create a game called Xenoblade Chronicle? I don't think they do. I don't think that would. Well,
I get your idea, but that name would probably never come across anyone because Xeno is the I forgot his exact name, but he's the
Takahashi.
Takahashi. So does Xeno just the name Xeno like just that is like it's
Xeno also has a definition.
The Xenoblade title was actually made up by Satoru Iwata.
Ooh, okay.
And,
yeah, the original name of the original game was not Xenoblade.
Xenogears, because Xenoblade 1 was originally going to be called Monado Beginning of the World.
Oh boy. Okay. Imagine if they went with that name.
Wait, can we scrap the Xenoblade 2 podcast idea and just let me talk about Xenoblade 1?
No.
You should have been here last time. You should have been here last time. But hey, we can talk about 1 too, cause we will compare, the two. So
yeah,
that's gonna be fun.
Yes. But yeah. So Zeke. So before I say my thing, so what did you not like, or for you it's just everything pretty much?
I think I was just really bad at the game. So my first experience with Xenoblade 2 was very unpleasant, but I've gotten better over the years, and a lot of my complaints with the gameplay really exist for me anymore. That makes sense.
I see.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
We already extensively talked about the Blade gacha system.
Yeah.
I would have preferred. I think it would have been more satisfying if you found a core crystal and every single time it was a rare blade. Like, if there were set
Then they would have to
times
lower
to
the
find
Then they would
rare
have to make
core crystals,
blade.
and then you open it, and then you get, like, if there were just less core crystals, but you were always guaranteed a rare blade, I think that would have been a lot more interesting.
I think what they could have done is basically, so like in New Game Plus, basically, so like the chance of getting a rare blade is like it's significantly higher up. I think if they did that, like you know how Telos is like free pretty much in New Game Plus. Like if they did that, I think that could have been a lot more interesting. So basically, okay, so we have this gacha.
I
so
feel both of those solutions are kind of dodging the problem in the first place.
Okay, well, to be fair, I'm just saying, so if they had to include gacha, so, I mean, obviously in an ideal world, we would not want, gacha to be here. And,
but my point isn't that it's saying, it's like, with how the game works mechanically, I don't think either of the solutions you presented would have fixed the problem. One, you're saying, make all the blades through some weird method, but then if you think about it, how are you going to balance that to make sure people get plenty of blades on their story? You have to also keep in mind, not everyone's going to go out of their way for every bit of optional content. How are you going to balance that at all? And so it would have to be very much balanced on how many blades are on the beaten path and how many are out of the way and all that type of stuff.
Well, here's one idea that probably actually this idea is probably terrible, and it would just demotivate people from actually using core crystals. But if common core crystals still existed and you could just keep getting common blades, but then all of the rare blades had like a specific way to get them, and it could like tie into their story and help you understand where they were when their driver died, or maybe give clues as to how they returned to their core crystal.
I just still feel like there's that problem of people will want the rare blades, and then you have to balance how many are on the beaten path, how many are out of the way, which ones you put on the beaten path, because you want people to feel rewarded for going out of their way for rare blades. And it's kind of...
How about this, or actually, I think I have an idea. Make all of the... Okay, so basically, so have a common core crystal and a rare core crystal, so no legendary, and basically make it so that also rare, so they'll always contain a rare blade, while the commons will contain a common blade. And hear me out, the rare blades, there's only the amount as there is as you'll get. So for example, I think there are a total of about 50 blades or 50 rare blades. So basically, so in the entire game you can only get 50 rare core crystal, one for one for every blade, and you get these blades from defeating a unique monster. So the first time you'll defeat it, like, you'll get the core, or so get the rare core. Pretty much, it's like a given. So that way, so the game rewards you for fighting these unique monsters, and you get a core crystal too, which is guaranteed rare.
Yeah, I'm just not sure how that... I just feel a lot of people say, like, I agree the gacha system isn't the best, but I also concede that a lot of the fixes for the gacha system really don't understand why it's not an easy system to fix.
No, by no means is it an easy system where you could just say,
yeah,
oh well, we could just give you a free rare blade every time. Then there's nothing to work towards, because as long as the reason why like a gacha system is in place is so you play the game more.
There's
And
also it's not just
Makes
to play
replaying the game
more.
a lot more interesting.
Yes, because then you have something constantly to work towards.
But it's also the idea of every playthrough you have a different set of rare blades. It also appeals to people who like having variations in their playthrough, and gacha systems are a very easy way to vary up playthrough.
Mhm.
I may just be completely weird, but honestly, I find games that I just like way more replayable than games that actually have a lot of variety. Like,
That's
I'd
fair.
rather play a game that I really love that doesn't have much replayability, rather than playing a game that has a ton of replayability that I don't enjoy as much.
That's fair. For me, I'll talk about this later on, but yeah. But okay. Since this is the next thing, or for this, or for your, yeah. So Zeke, so I'll respond to your thing after I say thing I don't like, because the next thing is pretty much my response to that. So yeah, okay. Organizing 100, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
And I suck at organizing. Okay. Well, anyways, so one thing I did not like is I felt that so I'm not gonna spoil, but later down the line you'll get this one blade which is very powerful, yet in post game it's actually not. Now, this blade is supposed to be pretty much a god, you know what I'm talking about, but she or he, they pretty much get outclassed by like Cosmos, Telos, or even Fiora, and even Poppy PewDiePie according to the official tier list, which I feel like is wrong, because like technically this blade should be the best because it's pretty much a god, and yet they're locked at E rank, which just makes them. I mean, look, they're still great, but I'm just saying that they could be a lot, like they could live up to their godly name had they not been locked at E rank, which is one thing which really annoyed me. Like, I'm like, why?
Honestly, that blade was a problem with the fact that with how they handled that blade, it was just not well thought out in terms of blades that go up to S plus. Once you have blades at S plus trust, they are out damaging.
Yes, exactly.
Everything, and it's pretty much when you're at E trust, you're stuck at an auto attack stat of like 700 versus blades that have auto attack stats of like
1500,
1700, and it's
yeah, true. Even more.
This blade that they are talking about does actually have a very high auto attack stat. That's
it's
almost
like
comparable to S plus blades, but just slightly behind, and it's really sad how close it actually is.
It's like 1100, and okay, so the thing is that basically in battle, so to be fair, they do allow you to have like you'll always hit critical like for every single hit, so I guess that's good, and this goes for your entire party, so it's not just the one person who's the driver. All right, so now I'll talk about so now let's talk about the Torna gameplay versus the main game gameplay, because like even though they are similar, but there are they're slightly different. Now I'll go first this time. Now for me, I think the Torna gameplay it is superior than the main game, but there's one thing which kind of stops me from actually liking Torna's gameplay more, which I'll tell you in just 1 second. But basically, I say Torna is superior because like it's slightly more advanced, and like what do you say? Like there's Vanguard and there's front guard attacks, and there's also and also like making orbs is a lot easier, and I don't know if you know, but I love doing orbs and doing a chain attack, so because that's very satisfying to do. So hey, this game made that a lot easier. But
I will say Torna.
But
was just.
Well, wait. Just let me finish because I just have to say one more sentence. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the main reason why I don't like Torna's gameplay as much as the main game, or what's stopping me from liking Torna more, is that it's the customization. I wasn't a big fan of the gacha, but I didn't mind it that much, and I really felt like the customization of like the blades was very fun. Like I can do a run with like only Cosmos or only like a shield hammer. Oh god, but I'm just saying an example. But yeah, so that's possible because of the customization which you can do. Which Torna is you can only play with 12 characters and that's it. And it's fixed.
Well, I was gonna say, like, I think that Torna, it's harder to like create that kind of create that kind of customization with the story you're trying to tell with a set amount of characters. I mean, if you were trying, I like the combat. I like how you could switch between blade and driver and do like all that fun stuff. Because, like, it was yeah, that was like really fun. It was fun to actually get longer time to play as Jin. Actually get to play as Hazed for the first time. Bridget and Aegeon were just like, I mean, like, you get to play as them in the main game anyways. It was neat to see Minoth as a playable character. But yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing in Torna. I'm just saying that this is why I like the main game more. I mean, I'm not saying this is why I hate Torna, because I don't hate Torna anymore. But yeah. I mean, it's good for Torna because because it's a short game and it's pretty much Jin and Laura's story pretty much. Yeah, so for that it makes sense. Well, the main game, it makes sense that hey, you can have this customization because the game is based around gacha. But yeah.
I mean, I think you guys actually just perfectly said what I was about to say. When I first played Torna, I beat it in like 5 days.
Nice.
I really liked the combat, and that was really weird because at the time, that was really weird to be playing Torna and really enjoying the gameplay because Xenoblade 2 is terrible. So
okay.
That really surprised me. But as I've gotten more into it and understand the combat of both games, I prefer base game over it because I actually think it has more depth than Torna, despite Torna changing some things. Torna feels very much like a future connected situation where they simplified a lot of things rather than
Torna felt a bit. There was a bit more in Torna than there was in Future Connected, because Future Connected.
Oh, definitely. Future Connected is like 40 minutes long.
Well, the thing is that
Future Connected was it like I said this earlier, but it's like, or I said this like earlier today, but it was like, it feels like more like a fan service kind of thing, because they like said, oh well, what if we told you we're bringing in the Bionic shoulder because you never got to go there. And as much as I love that you could go to the Bionic shoulder and get to explore that area, it was just really limited and simple. Unlike where you have like multiple areas, there's a lot more stuff to do in Torna. Well, as much as I dislike the community thing, because it, like I constantly make this joke, but I always call I always call it jail the golden country because it practically is forced community service against your will. But
so that's why you make that joke. I
yeah, that's
thought
why I
you
call
made
it
that
jail.
joke. Yeah,
Monado jail.
yeah. I thought you were.
it is
I thought you
Monado
were.
That was the
jail.
worst Mallows voice I've
Me-
ever done.
Monado jail.
Monado jail.
My headphones on, I can barely hear myself. I could,
Oh, God,
I could do
I really
a better
hope,
Mallows if I could.
I really hope Issa is not seeing this because he doesn't know that yet. But anyways, let's.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I
It's
didn't
okay.
mean to
No, it's
spoil
okay. No, it's fine. I mean, I wouldn't call that a spoiler. But...
It's not a spoiler. It's literally just Malice saying Monado jail.
Yeah, but oh well. But I'm pretty sure he's not gonna see this before she plays this game. So I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're probably good. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like it's gonna...
Yeah, it's not like we're saying, "Hey, blank dies in blank." You know, like
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Also, bringing up Future Connected was just me trying to have an excuse to say Tyrea is best girl.
Well, yeah, and I'm trying not to get off topic here, but Tyrea has definitely grown on me because while I do think, while it is funny to be like, haha, Melia shanked, haha, Melia got shanked, she deserved better, haha, you know, she real best girl. You know, it's funny to do that, but Tyrea, because of Future Connected, Tyrea honestly grew on me.
All right. So before we, I'm sorry.
I haven't been able to give any thoughts on.
Sorry.
yet.
Sorry.
There was quite a few things I wanted to add. First of all, I think the community thing is very much blown out of proportion. I think people see that and they get very annoyed, and I think it was handled wrong. But when people think about it, the amount of side quests it takes to get to community level 4, which is the community level needed to beat the game, is ridiculously small, considering that 90% of those side quests at that point take less than 5 minutes as long as you've been collecting collection points along your way. You'll have so many collectibles on you that you'll be able to do all those side quests immediately.
Well, the thing is, it's not that like it's how long it takes. It's just that it's the idea. It's that side quests are actually forced quests. It's basically
the problem is even with that argument, I'm like, it doesn't tell you which side quests to do. It just says you need to reach X community level, which just requires you to do a few side quests to do. It's not like saying, oh, you must do X, X, and X side quests. It's still letting you choose which side quests you do and which side quests you ignore.
I will just point out, because you said it's a very small amount of quests, it's over half the total amount of quests in Torna.
Not really. In terms of length of quests, it's only a third of the quests. You're doing 2/3 of the quests, or pretty much all the later quests in Torna are the actually long quests. All the earlier quests are extremely short. But even with that, there was another point that was brought up about, oh, well, you've played Brigid, Aegeon, and Mithra before. And I'm like, yes, that's true, but if you look at them, they aren't the same characters as them. The specials that they had in the base game are their regular arts in Torna. And they have the same effects as what they were in the base game. And they have new specials to replace the old specials, which I found really interesting. That Brigid, you had Heat Haze, Will-Wisp, and what was the last one called? I can't remember. But those were her Vanguard arts instead of her specials. And then she had new specials to replace the specials she had in the base game. And I just thought that was a really cool way to mix up characters that you were used to from the base game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Torna is a game that just gets a lot of hate, and it doesn't get a lot of recognitions for a lot of the really interesting ideas it put out there. The community idea, I think, was a pretty cool idea, especially because Torna is a short game. Torna is a very short game, and honestly,
it's trying to immerse you with it's trying to get you like this is the world of Torna. Like this is what Torna was.
it also, I think it makes sense. Honestly, what the point of the community level is that you need it's like you're kind of like building a following for this war, and you need a following to it makes more sense, and I'm trying to like say it like in the least spoilerly way possible, but it's kind of the idea of building a following for building a group of followers for the war up ahead, which is something one of the main characters is actually doing throughout the game.
That's fair. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of things that people constantly argue is like the worst things ever with Torna, and I'm like, I don't think they're as bad as people make them out to be, and it's just more people projecting onto each other.
I honestly love the side quests in Torna. I think that if you have not completed Torna 100%, then you have not experienced Torna.
Oh no, I completed Torna 100% when I played it.
Yeah, I know. I'm just talking to anyone.
Now.
Like, if anyone out there has not completed it, then they have not experienced it. It's like I think Torna is very much like Majora's Mask in a lot of ways.
Alright, so now we're going to talk about the story without any spoiler section. So if you haven't played the game, you're still good to go. So the first thing I'd like to quickly discuss is, so one thing I noticed is that basically, this game's chapters, like they're not evenly paced at all. Like, some chapters are very, very short, while others are very long. Now, in Xenoblade DE, chapters were just, like, I don't know why they were added on, because technically they weren't even chapters, so it makes sense why they're uneven. But in 2, they were added as chapters from the get-go. Now, I do understand from a story perspective that they tried to find so let's divide it at this point, and it made sense up till chapter 6, you know. Like, after that, then the chapters are just kind of like a wishy. Okay, sorry. After chapter 7, they're kind of like a wishy-washy. It's like they just picked a time which they cut, even though they could all technically be as one big chapter and it would still make sense, sort of. So what do you guys have to say about the chapters and like the pacing of that?
The only chapter that I had a problem with for that was chapter 4, because
yes
chapter 4 was just that. I mean, sure, it's like Tora's arc, but there's not really too much in it.
The problem with chapter 4 is it's the anime filler arc of the game. It's early enough where you can really talk about what's going on. It's like the only reason why you're visiting Moradin is because you need to go to Indal. You're not visiting there because you need to go to Moradin. You're visiting there to lay over to Indal. And then stuff happens in Moradin that doesn't really become relevant for a long time. Mm-hmm. And even before you visit the Moradin, there's another filler arc to Gormott for a few minutes, and it's like just everything felt like it was just there to pad out time and add an extra chapter to the game.
Now,
the whole thing with Rock, where you go around, do the stuff, and with the thieves. I can't even remember what even that part was so forgettable. I can't even remember what happened with that. But
yeah,
it's just what we could have had a better chapter if that entire part was just taken out, because I don't want to go hunt down some brats who stole a core crystal and then to fill like a good 30 minutes of story.
It had to be the only thing they do with Rock for the rest of the game.
Rock is like nothing.
Rock
isn't
was
even
just
brought
used
up
for
the rest of
the
the game.
miasma dispersal twice. Like that's what he's good for, his field skill wise, and he was good for Smash. But now Corwin is good off for that.
Even then, the miasma dispersal field skill is used one time in the game for a required story point, and there are tons of dark miasmas throughout the game. And not once did they think, we should make that a rock field check.
Yeah, but they didn't, because I have no idea why they didn't, but...
Just forgot about rock.
Yeah, and yeah. I can see why you would say that.
Another part was like, I know a lot of people really do not like, how it feels so much like anime, with the hot spring scene,
Oh, I don't care about any of that scene, but yeah.
I mean, it's amusing, but honestly, it was just filler. It really was just filler.
I actually don't. I'm going to defend the hot spring scene really quick.
Yeah, because you learn blank about Nia.
Okay, how about we don't say that
it actually
at all?
has foreshadowing.
Yeah, well, you just take with, yeah, it has some foreshadowing.
You learn that Poppy cannot
actually has story
rust.
relevance later.
You learn that Poppy
cannot rust. Yes.
She's got
and there's nothing about Nia. You learn about Poppy. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. The
Hot spring scene is important because you learn that
Master Pawn built her specially.
You'll learn that people will always make a foot fetish out of people who have bare feet on for one frame.
Yes.
Hence why there's a feet emoji.
and this is why I did not add that here, because I'm like, no, I'm not adding that in this server. Hell no.
No, but
just keep the feet emoji away.
Yes.
But
I actually thought that feet fetish was a joke until, like, okay, well, not now, but like back then, like I thought like it was a joke like a few years back.
Hey, Jerry.
And then I'm like, wait, this is real? What the fuck? I cursed. Great.
The only
Sorry about
fun
that.
part about the Mr. Sleepwalking scene is because I did like a little rambling thing, I rambled on like a while back about how Gramps was the real one staring and not Rex, and
Yes, that is true. Gramps is a horny old man, you could say.
well, yeah, I even did like a whole thing of it, like a whole thing of sorry. Like I did like a whole thing of like I had like images, I had evidence that it was Gramps and not Rex. Like I knew it, but everybody was like, no, it's not. But like, even though
I mean, even if Rex was staring, I mean, does it actually?
Does it really matter? No.
I mean, I was gonna say, but I'm like, it matters because it's way too early. If this was like at the end of the game, then I don't think she'd care. But but yeah, no, this is chapter 4, so she'd care. Alrighty, so now we are back and we're going to talk about the story section with spoilers. So a fair note, if you haven't played the game or you don't know the plot yet, don't watch this part. You can skip to the questions part, it's fine. And come back after you play the game. So we'll give you about 5 seconds to do that. So, Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, if you haven't played the game, you should not be here now. Alright, so the first thing I like to talk about is, let's just start out with something simple. Let's rate the main villains of this game, and I think that this game had a total of 4 main villains: Jin, Malus, Amalthus, and Gort. Now I included Gort because he's like the final boss of Torna, pretty much, or if I'm correct. So yeah, I think it's fair enough to include
in a way,
him.
yes, in a real sense, Malos is the real final boss. The Gort fight is kind of just like a...
He's Gort.
Though I mean, he does play a major role in the story.
He does play a major role in Laura's story.
Yeah. So this is why I included him as also a part of that. So let's start with Jin first. I think Jin now. Okay, now comparing the villains to one, I'd say that Jin is like the one guy, and Malos too, and Amalthus to some extent, but to me it's mostly Jin. This is it's like you feel bad for him. It's like he's not a villain in the sense that like he thinks what he's doing is right. Like he's one of those freedom fighters. You could argue that those guys that are terrorists, but they call themselves freedom fighters in like movies and stuff, etc. But what they fight for is actually like morally right in a way. Like he wants to stop this whole blades as slave cycle, and etc. And like how come it's not fair that blades they go back to the core and forget everything, and memory is like what makes people grow, and blades, they forget their memories, so they can't grow as much as they could have if they remembered their past.
Yeah, I feel personally like you go.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna quickly set this up because you said to rate the villains. I'm gonna make a villain tier list, just like
okay, all right,
in my head right now. You
okay,
got
sure,
S tier, an S plus tier, then you got F tier. Okay. So you got F tier, S tier, and S plus tier.
Okay.
So an F tier is Gort because
of course
it's Gort.
That guy is abomination, man.
He's an abomination both at the end of the game and and just as a villain. I mean, he shows up like 3 times. But he shows up 2 times. I mean, but he shows up in like other cutscenes.
Yeah.
A couple times. But other than that, he's just not like a good villain. He just does nothing. Now,
I actually do just want
go ahead.
to talk about Gort for a sec. I'll just say it right away. I'm not going to say he's a good character, because obviously he's just Gort, and he like barely does anything. But from a story standpoint, Gort really got to me for some reason. In characters like that, like abusive family, really gets to me in media for some reason. Well, not for some reason. I mean, that's quite obvious why. I don't know. It's just that kind of thing. Like kind of.
Here's the thing.
More, and or they hit that, and the ending actually legit almost made me throw up after watching the ending of Torna.
Here's the thing.
I love the ending of Torna, by the way. Something that could.
I honestly, as much as like people like me about Gort, I honestly do not think that he's the worst villain. I honestly don't like Jin or Amalthus as villains at all. Now, don't get me wrong. I like Jin as a character. I like Amalthus as a character. But them as villains is a very different question than them as characters. And I feel they both suffer from the same problem as a villain, where you don't really see enough of their transformation from normal people to villain. You just get a tiny bit, and you don't get, and it doesn't feel convincing.
Backstory comes to an opening cutscene in chapter 9.
And even then, Amalthus's backstory, you barely get anything. In Jin, you only get a tiny bit. You only see that Laura died, and you don't see anything in between Laura dying and Jin joining Malos. And I feel like that stuff is so crucial to making Jin a convincing villain.
Oh yeah,
I do agree with you in the sense that I do think that they could have, explained a little more as to why he joined Malos. Because I'm a be honest with you, Jin could have stayed a good guy and just served as a Obi-Wan Kenobi of some sort. It's basically he helps out the mercenaries with Van Damme and he's a good guy, and instead he wants to stop Amalthus, obviously, but he's not gonna be this bad guy. Instead of he's gonna be a good guy. That he could have done that, but because I do feel like him joining Malos does feel kind of forced in that way. Is that okay, well, Laura dies, so are you gonna just destroy everyone? I mean, that's not fair. I don't
understand how Laura dying equates to Jin hating all of humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand why Laura dying makes him hate Amalthus.
Yes,
but that is very different than him hating all of humanity.
Exactly.
And I feel like that transition from just hating Amalthus to hating humanity as a whole should have been expanded on more.
This is why I actually first thought that the rain scene at the end of chapter 9 happened actually just 10 years before the main game story, because in the 500 years or so, or 490 to be more precise, Jin, Jin's been alive, and he's just living alone, and just roaming around, and all in these 500 years caused him to hate humanity. But it kind of shows that he started to hate humans just after Laura's death, which I'm okay, but that's not realistic at all, and even for a fantasy game.
I mean, I like Jin as the anti-hero. He's more the
Sephiroth.
Yeah, and Sephiroth, I think Jin is a really good character. Different,
and I'm not going to get into Sephiroth because
I just said that as a joke. I know, it's fine.
I know. Well, yeah, but Sephiroth, you can't. Even they may look this. I know it was a joke, but they may look similar, but Jin functions more as the anti-hero.
He's come to think of it, he's pretty much Shadow the Hedgehog, because hear me out. So he's pretty much a bad guy who wants to destroy all humans. Same way as Shadow was, because he wanted to destroy Earth, if I'm correct, or he wanted to destroy everyone on Earth, if I'm correct. And
he wanted to. He just wanted to destroy everything. That is not really.
But yeah. So and then basically until we get to in near space, or in Shadow's case, we were in space. And while in Jin's case, we were way high up in the world tree. One of the protagonists in Shadow's case was Amy. In our case was Jin. We talked to him, and then he somehow, not somehow, but we convinced them to, become good suddenly. And like Amy convinces Shadow, and Rex convinces Jin. And then basically, the Jin sacrifices himself to stop Amalthus, while Shadow sacrifices himself to stop the bio lizard. So in a way, they're pretty similar. Though I'm sorry for going off topic, but I wanted to say that. I did plan to say that. Sorry, but yes.
I just honestly don't think Jin makes the best villain. I think he's an amazing character, but the idea of him as a villain, I was never sold on throughout the entire game in Torna.
Let's move on to Amalthus, though. I mean,
I like
him. he is a truly
mixed
bad
on him.
person. He is like the villain that he's even though he's got like the troubled backstory, the stereotypical troubled backstory, he is truly evil. Like there is no good in him.
Yeah, basically he wants war, and he wants to pretty much, I think he wants to be like a god, pretty much. Like that's what his goal is, pretty much. Like he wants to be what Zanza was, or what Zanza was, kind of like he just wants
power to kill everyone who wrongs him. That's pretty much what he wants.
Yeah, I don't think he doesn't want like Malos to destroy Allrest, because he wants to rule Allrest, pretty much. That's pretty much what it is. Otherwise, he hates everyone. And he wants to just control everyone, or by control I mean have power. Sorry, to be more specific.
Yeah, but I mean, it's weird. It's weird because of Malthus is like, his motive is more just, I'm like, if I have I want power. That's why I created this whole cleansing thing. I got my power. The reason why he got like all his power with Malos, and then Malos went out and like, oh well, I got all this power, I can just turn it around on you, instead of how Amalthus wanted to use Malos for his own purposes.
Actually, I don't think even Amalthus knew that was his secret desire, because if you recall in one of the flashbacks of Amalthus, so he sees Malos just waving his sword and just destroys like hundreds of ships.
Yeah.
Just that point, I think Amalthus himself did not know that. Like, holy shit, what the heck, man?
Well, it's like, because he wished for power, and
okay. Well, subconsciously, but not like consciously. Like, I don't think okay, well, maybe in the ending of the main game, but at this point in time, I don't think he wanted to just, destroy, everything, or have all this power. However, deep in his mind, he did, but, he wasn't sure about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, this kind of leads into my opinion on Malos, because Malos is like, it's explained like oh, he's bad because Amalthus was bad, and he kind of set up how Amalthus, or he kind of set up how Malos is in the entire game, and it kind of shows how nothing Malos did was really his own will. He didn't really have his own
his identity until before he allegedly died.
Well, the thing is, I feel like the conversation before the final battle really shows Malos's mentality. He knew that if all of his actions were deep down rooted to Amalthus's ideology, but
he was okay.
He was layered so much with self-hatred and loathing from his birth that he didn't care at all.
Yeah,
he had no care left in the world. He was like, it was his own perpetual self-hatred that caused him to continue down that path, even after separating from Amalthus.
Yeah, I feel like at that point, it's just that, he just, screw this world. You guys are all evil, and including him, I'm a hideous monster, or something along the lines. And according to, and at that point, in his mind, he feels that the best option is to just, just end the world. I mean, hey, he's basically, doing a big suicide mission, except he's killing everyone and like, you know, along with him. But yeah. Alright, so let's move on to the next part. Did Torna change the way you thought about of the main cast? Now I know we kind of talked over this, so let's just, you know, quickly, you know, speed through this part, because I do want to get to the juicy parts of this, you know, section. But yeah, so for me, I'd say that Adam was certainly different, and I think it's okay, because so what happened was, you see, when they were bigging the main game and Adam was not finalized, like his character, you know, like even his model wasn't, you know, finalized. So yeah, so I'm sure that, you know, how he was as a character was like not finalized, other than the basis that
the same. I don't think that that's the truth.
No,
they definitely knew what Adam was going to be. There's a heart-to-heart in the base game, where Zeke gets really upset when he finds out that Adam isn't a really
So the
cool,
point of Adam is more... Yeah.
When he learns that Adam was kind of silly, he gets really heartbroken over it.
It was actually when he finds out that Adam didn't like spicy foods, because everything tells...
Oh, yeah.
Because they say... As Tantal likes to say that Adam really loved these really spicy foods, and Mithra tells him, oh, Adam hated those. He couldn't stand anything with a tiny bit of spice. And Zeke really did. But I think the point of Adam wasn't the fact that he was this thing, but it's the idea of how we distort history. Like, Adam himself was this very carefree individual.
I was gonna get to that. Yeah. So, but I was gonna say.
The reason why I bring this up is you say that they didn't know that about Adam when they made Xenoblade 2, and I think they knew that from the start. They knew Adam was going to be like that, but they wanted to present him was this serious guy because of how they wanted to do it.
And they also, with the phantasms in chapter 7? Yeah, in chapter 7, where Rex like talks with Adam in the Dream of Elysium, he's like, I was afraid of you know, their power, unlike how everybody talks about, you know, how I was the master of the Aegis's power, you know, stuff like that.
Okay, that's fair, but basically what I was trying to say is that, so what I thought is that, so they didn't finalize on how Adam was going to specifically be, other than, you know, a few characteristic, like he's afraid of her power, and he couldn't, and that's why he couldn't wield the third sword. But when it came to Torna, when they did finalize a way which they could easily say that why he's so different is that because of history, you know, 500 years goes by, and people, you know, and this shows a lot about our history too, like, you know, the history we read is probably not like accurate. Well, it's somewhat accurate, but I'm sure there's many details which are just wrong, and that just happens because, you know, as time passes by, you know, stories get rewritten, or, you know, they get passed down in books and stuff. People have their own interpretation, and, you know, people might, you know, mess up, and, you know, and they change up a small detail, and, you know, and as time goes on, you know, that small detail is like a completely new thing, you know.
But yeah, so I don't think that was the intention at all. I think that from the start they knew
fine.
Adam.
It's fine, but yeah. So basically, so they intended that. Okay, well, yeah, that's fine. But
I watch Adam do silly stuff, and I think this says a lot about society.
I really like to. Now, what about Mithra being rude to Rex? What did you guys think about that? I felt that, like, in Torna, like basically she just gets roasted by everyone, which is kind of sad, but, you know, she is also, you know, a bit cocky, so I guess you could say she I guess you could say like it's an eye for an eye, but yeah, but this is why she's mean to Rex pretty much or at first is because she thinks so this guy's also gonna roast me just like Hayes did or Jin did. Okay, yeah, whatever. But no, Rex was the complete opposite of that, which really surprised her. That's why she was like oh, well then if you have any questions, you can ask her, and then she just shoos away and just gives it to Pyra to talk to Rex, not Risk.
I mean, I think that's just part of Mithra's personality. She was always mean and Torna. That's why everyone else bullied her.
But she's not mean. Like I'd say, like past chapter 7. Well, I want to say 6, or actually, I want to say 5 too. I mean, she does say, "I'll burn you to like Nia," but like that's only because she's trying to hide her love, but like I wouldn't call that her being mean. I just her trying to like defend herself.
Mithra went through like a lot of her development in Torn,
I will say that that Mithra's personality. She kind of started as like I'm the Aegis. I'm this really like I'm this powerful blade, and like I have no business in what these mere mortals what I have no business in their affairs. I just got some guy just touched my core crystal, and I woke up, and now I got to follow him around, and you really start to see her change towards the end of Torna and during the main game, because she starts to realize that like Jin actually said. Like towards the end of Torna, where you said the relationship you're looking for is in the future rather than now, and
don't feel like this is all fair to Mithra, to be honest, because of how we see Mithra here, but we're also like ignoring the fact what Mithra was dealing with at the time. She was practically awakened, told of all this power that another Aegis had and was using to destroy the world, and how they needed her power to stop that Aegis, and now she's being afraid of using the same power to destroy the world.
Yeah, and the thing is that why she had that fear in the first place was because of Adam. You see, unlike
Laura even pointed out that to Adam that she thinks Mithra is holding back. She points out when they're in Gormott that she feels Mithra is holding back on purpose to not end up like Malos.
Yeah, which is true until the end of Torna, which she does, she gets pissed and what happens. Torna gets destroyed, unfortunately, during the battle. But yeah, I do feel like that's also like it's not her fault entirely. It's also Adam's fault for having this like fear. Like had she, for example, been awakened by a Malthus, I'm just saying as an example, she would have not had this fear because Malos was not scared at all. He was full on like I don't think he held back at all ever time, or like he pretty much went full on out. Because he never had that fear, in him. Because because Amalthus never feared in the same way as, Adam did, Because, Alright, so I guess we'll move on to the next point to talk about, because this is where it gets juicy.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a juicy topic to talk about.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
So let's talk about the ending. So after this,
I love the ending. I like the ending. Getting that right out there. I like the ending. I like it. I thought that, I thought that it was real nice how we get to have both of them in the end. I would have liked it better if it was more of like, a trade-off, we give up our power, or like our Trinity processor form as Numa to be with you again as Pyra and Mithra. That would have been that would have been, a little, nice little cherry on top.
Isn't that what happens? It's just that they're two blades.
It's implied, but I don't think a lot of people know.
I disagree with that because I feel they spent their whole lives fearing Numa's power. And to just give up that power, it feels like more of a cop-out. Like, instead of learning to accept that power and not be afraid of it, they're just, we'll get rid of it. They don't have that anymore. Boom.
Well, to be fair,
problem solved.
It was for a good cause. So she did save the world, by giving up that power. So, you can't really... I mean...
But I just feel that's such a cop-out way to handle that fear.
I feel like she didn't want to lose that power. Like, she too was a little... Like, she's like, I'm sorry, Rex, we have to do this. But, like, she too, like, you could tell that she didn't want to do this. Like
I think it was more just, she just wanted... She was willing to go to any means necessary just to be with Rex again.
And save the world, too. Because I think I think that was her number one goal.
To save the world and Rex to be with Rex again.
Yeah.
Can't forget to save the world.
Yeah, man.
Love always comes before saving the world.
Look, man, the power of Dick is strong, but the power of saving the world is also, I think, stronger, than...
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think I'd...
What about you, Zeke?
Have to be this is where everyone is actually... Nah, this probably isn't the thing that most people would get mad at me for saying on this.
The what? Yeah.
I hate the ending of Xenoblade 2. I actually do not like anything about it.
Why so?
I have come to terms with it. I accept what it is for the lore and what it was trying to do. But as it stands actually right now, ending is actually the only thing holding this game back from being my favorite game.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, on. Tell us about that.
For me, really. It's actually the complete opposite. That's why I love this game. But yes, so explain.
Thing that I won't elaborate much on because I know most of you haven't played it. The ending, the main stuff that happens is basically just like a worse version of the ending of Xenosaga 1, which has very similar events playing out. Like, as you watch it, you'll think, oh wow, this is basically Xenoblade 2 ending.
I'm gonna assume, this is just me assuming, I don't know if this is correct or not, so I'm gonna assume that a certain so-and-so sacrifices themselves. Is that the ending of Saga, or is that not the ending of Saga?
Kind of. I won't go into too many.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine, but yeah.
Sorry. I won't go into too many Xenosaga spoilers.
Yeah, it's fine, but
that's
probably don't want to, because if you do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the worst thing, but yeah, it's fine.
If you watch the ending of Xenosaga 1, it plays out a lot, like scene for scene, it's nearly identical to how the ending of Xenoblade 2 goes. This is just the ending of Xenosaga 1, by the way, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah. So
the other Xenosaga games continue from it. So,
would you think, had they not come back, would you think that would have made it better or worse in any way?
Pyra and Mithra hadn't come back. If it just went to the title screen after the credits and everything, and the game just ended, I probably would have cried.
But
Xenoblade 2, I mean, kind of like it was getting me emotional through like the ending and stuff. Like, I felt that like Rex having to say goodbye to Pyra and Mithra was very sad, or Numa as it was,
Mm-hmm.
the cutscene.
Yeah.
It was really building up something sad, and the credits showing all the scenes with Pyra and Mithra throughout the story was really helping.
Yep.
I think that them coming back really ruined it for me. I think that removing that after credits scene would be the easiest fix, in my opinion. I've said on many different servers many different times, I think that post-credits scene should have been a New Game Plus thing.
Okay.
Because
I'd like to think that, you know, I still think it's kind of interesting how they did it, because if they didn't end it like that, then because it kind of leaves it open. Did they remember? Did they not remember? Were their memories?
I have two reasons for disliking Pyra and Mithra coming back. One of
Cliche.
them, actually, no. Cliche isn't actually even one of them.
No.
I mean, okay, you could put that at number one, because I don't actually want to. Because I mean, my first point is actually something that I didn't really want to go into too much detail about. Just it's more of a personal feeling.
Okay.
The second reason was it already kind of did a Pyra fake out death in Chapter 7 when kept building.
You knew they weren't gonna
Pyra.
die.
Pyra
to
going
be
to
fair,
okay after what Malos
It's
did
just
to her
like-
core crystal.
Well, to
it
be
kind
fair,
of
at
felt
that
like
point,
them fake killing her.
well, I mean, to be fair, like we all know that she's not dead from Chapter 7 and never coming back. If that were the case, then this would be a very different game. I'm sure
There are games that kill off a major party member.
okay,
They have
okay,
done it
okay.
before.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
There are plenty of games that have done it.
Okay, I know they have, but I'm just saying that if that were the case, then this would have been a lot different than what they were trying to do. I think in Xenoblade 2. Now I know that they okay, well, to be fair, Fiora comes back, so I can't say that one, but we have a Dunban, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we just about covered it.
Okay, so let's move on to so before we end the spoiler section, let's talk about the big brain moment
Where
You
they
guys-
connected both worlds.
Yes, and thus boy, so basically, so picture this. You just beat Jin and Amalthus boss in chapter 9, and you suddenly get the chapter 10 screen and thus boy Becker, and then you suddenly see and then you suddenly hear that amazing soundtrack called the Decision playing, and basically and you see, wait a minute, what's going on? This scene looks a lot
You
similar.
see the intro. You see the cutscene.
The space
ending
station
from Xenoblade
from-
1. You're just like,
Wait a minute, what's
What?
going on
At
here?
first, it's not the cutscene. At first, it's random scientists, and
Yeah.
then they say that they're locked out by Professor Klaus. And then you hear the iconic line,
Let's begin
the
the
experiment.
experiment.
And anyone
Yeah.
who played 1 knows exactly what was going on right then.
Yes.
I have a funny story about that scene.
Yes.
go ahead.
My first time playing Xenoblade 2. I'm not making this up when I say this. After the scientist said we're locked out by Professor Klaus, I paused the cutscene and legit ran around my house screaming, "Klaus is the architect!" I basically spoiled Xenoblade 2 for my entire family. So they can never enjoy it properly. I'm not
Okay.
making that up. I ran around the house screaming that, and
Interesting. Okay. It's.
I don't know if I should feel ashamed or not.
Nah, it's fine. I mean, look. I'm not gonna say
Are your
who,
family gamers?
Some of them.
Hey man, it's fine. I'm pretty sure they don't remember it, or if they do, then I don't know. But yeah, but I wouldn't say it's the worst because someone else in the server, which I know, basically when okay, not for this seed, but basically when today we use a part of fellow god, and then Caesar Destiny came on, like it was 3 a.m. and then he screamed out loud, and I think he woke up his parents. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't say that that's not like I'd say that it's not in that it's not out of the realm. I should say. Now me, unfortunately, I played 2 before 1, so I didn't get the same feeling, but like I still felt like I still got the chills. I'm like, holy shit, what the heck just happened? Like, did these guys just die? Like, what? Because I was confused, but then I did some more research. I'm like, oh, okay, so basically that's the ending of Xenoblade 1. Okay, interesting. And I'm like, man, this is some some good shit, man. And I know I'm cursing, but whatever, it's okay, whatever. At this point, fucking
But,
man.
like,
I mean, that's what that
I
scene does to you.
I really thought it was interesting because it showed like that the two, it's instead of showing that like it was just that the two actually was in the title for a reason, because it truly was like the second. It shows like what's happening alongside the events of Xenoblade 1. It shows
and like why
as I say
Klaus.
all the time to people, the connection between the two games is not a spoiler, because there's a reason the third Xenoblade game is called Xenoblade 2.
Well, okay. Well, to be fair, I kind of don't want to tell. So I made my friends play Xenoblade 1, and then they're gonna play 2. But I don't want them to know that 1 and 2 are connected, because it's gonna make that scene that much more effective and that much more.
And
interesting.
I disagree with the argument that just because it's the same series means that they have to be connected. Final Fantasy games have never been connected, and they've always been the same series name.
I know. I'm just. My point was more. There's already. Xenoblade 2 was the third Xenoblade game. Why would they call it Xenoblade 2 unless it directly meant something to Xenoblade 1?
Okay,
but
in that regard,
because they already established that the Xenoblade games don't have to be numbered. So when they call it Xenoblade Chronicles 2, that's...
Well, Takahashi kind of answered that when he said that X had a very different gameplay style than 1. And they wanted to go back to the more story-driven and less open world with 2, which is why he was calling it 2 and not something else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like Y or A. Xenoblade
An argument
A.
to that is that was when they were still covering it up, when they said the stories are not connected at all. So he was just drawing attention away from the fact that the stories are connected. Now that it's common knowledge that the games that 1 and 2 are connected, I don't think that don't think that they can actually do that.
Well, okay,
saying,
but the
hey,
thing,
this game isn't connected.
But the thing is that that if or when the next game does come out and it's not connected and it's called Xenoblade 3, I wouldn't be surprised. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it is connected. But basically, all I'm saying is that like if the next game is Xenoblade 3, or whenever it comes out, it probably isn't connected. But if it is, it'd be cool. But I think it would still be called 3, but it would not be connected. But yes, I do agree that that was probably why they call this 2. That was also a reason why. Like, it was similar to 1 in terms of story, and it's connected as well.
I also feel like the wow factor of there actually being a connection. I know you think of Chapter 10 because you played 2 first, but the real wow factor was actually Chapter 7. Because in the middle of Chapter 7, when Rex touches the third sword, before he has this conversation with Adam and then touches the third sword, what he sees is the death of the universe scene. You see the
and you even see
experiment.
Klaus, yeah.
you don't see Klaus. You just see the space station and the energy wave that comes after Klaus for experiment. Yet it's all the context you get, and to someone who has never played 1, it just seems like a random cutscene that will be explained later on. But to someone who has played 1, that was such an iconic scene that right then and there, just that second and a half of footage is enough for you to go, what the fuck is going on right here? Oh, sorry.
It's fine. You can curse, it's okay. Yeah. Though, actually, I do think we do see a glimpse of Klaus. I'm just gonna quickly watch that scene right now, because if I remember, I do remember seeing him.
We actually do. We do see Klaus.
Yeah, just but it's his old form.
It's not. Yeah, it's not young Klaus.
Yeah, so it's the current
takes
one.
Place. It shows. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the old one, but yeah.
Also see a shot of the Trinity processor without the core crystals in it. So.
Yeah.
But the only one that you have context for from 1 itself is the death of the universe, which is...
Also, on top of that, in Chapter 7, you pretty much find out about Malus's weapon, that is definitely a Monado. I mean, there's no denying that.
Rex gets that vision before you see that Malus has a Monado.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that, that just adds on to that. Now, but I do think could have made this, I think, more, or I think they could have done it. It's basically, the third sword is, Monado. It's called that. Imagine if that was the case. Though at the same time, I know why they didn't do it, because then, it just makes Chapter 10, a little bit more interesting, because at that point, you're like, oh, okay, so Malus and the Aegis, so the Aegis, they have a Monado and Alvis, so basically, these 3 are, connected in some way. However,
it also makes it less of a mystery whether, because at the time, before Definitive Edition came out, it was much more of a mystery whether or not Alvis was the missing Aegis. There was an overwhelming amount of evidence towards it, but it was never confirmed, and there was always that kind of debate, what if it was else and not Alvis and this, and it's
so about that, so back then, because I wasn't a fan, so I can't say on that, but so back then, so let's just say it was not Alvis, so who did you guys think it could have also been if it was not Alvis, there's a third Aegis? Because
there wasn't that much of an answer, but there was an answer of something else could have been, which was the idea of Alvis being more of the entire processor instead of just being one of the cores. Which was one of the big leading theories, was that the idea, because that was more based off the idea of Alvis saying that he was the administrative computer. And people were like, well, if he was the whole computer, wouldn't he be the entire processor, not just one of the...
Yeah, but as we know now, that's a retcon, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I do want to point out something that actually surprisingly wasn't retconned in Definitive Edition. That's a visual reference to the Trinity processor on Alvis. On the back of his code, he has a design that's the exact shape of the Trinity processor.
What's interesting is that was actually Manus Monada's design.
I feel like they just say, hey, this is pretty interesting.
They definitely designed the Trinity processor after it. They definitely looked at it, and they were like, hey, let's make it look like that as the connection. And then, of course, in Definitive Edition, they give him a core crystal and to make it actually look like the other Aegises.
That's kind of like a MCU movie where basically so they're not entirely sure what they'll do with this, but they just add this teaser in and then they make a movie out of it a few years later. If you remember back in the Avengers, in the first Avengers, Thanos, that was just added in just like that. They didn't have any weight to it at that time. Now obviously, they planned out the Infinity War and etc. But at that time, that was just added in, and they didn't know what to do.
I mean, thing about the MCU is that was based on comics. So anyone who has read the comics hears that, and they know exactly what's coming.
Okay, true, but the thing is that they don't follow the comics entirely true. So it's like, how would they, how would they do this? But you know what? I think let's not talk about the MCU. Let's just focus on this. Actually, sorry about that.
That's a completely
I should have
different
not brought it up, but yeah.
That's all good.
All right. So before we end this part, I just would like to say something. I just would like to say something, short and like to hear your opinion on this thing. So basically, that day that Rex climbed the world tree and Malthus and Malus was trying to destroy the world. That day was gonna be the end. That day was gonna be the last day of all rest. Like it was destined, and here's why. Now it didn't happen, but it was supposed to happen pretty much. And I'll say why. Basically, either Malus would be successful and just destroy all rest, and it's gonna happen because he was just destroying all of the Titans, so he would have, by enough time he would have succeeded, and or what do you call Shulk? He would have killed Zanza, and then by that he would have made a new universe with no gods, and then by thus removing the conduit from existence or transporting it to another dimension, whichever way you'd like to see that. So basically that would cut off its supply and cause the world tree to collapse. And if the world tree collapsed, all the Titans would die out, according to Numa. So basically, they were gonna die, except that didn't happen because they climbed up, and they just in time that they were able to save the world. They were able to self-destruct the world tree's like top part, or the space station, I should say. So that's quite some like freaky shit,
Yeah.
I just chalked it up to anime tension.
Yeah.
Also, do you want to know where I got this idea from? So I think a while back, Zeke, you sent me a what do you call it, an iceberg meme of this. So, and I saw this as a listing. I was like, hey, so like it said, Klaus knew that the world was going to end, because, and then I'm like, holy, and then I thought of this. So that's where I got this idea from.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Now, speaking of the iceberg, can I just say one funny thing?
Yeah, sure.
I don't remember if it was on that iceberg or if it was on a different one that I saw. But I love that that there was one Xenoblade iceberg that I saw. That these two really great entries on there. That's just like, one of them was Xenoblade games are a warning of the future.
Oh yeah, I saw that. And then
another one was Xenoblade games were a warning, like it's already too late.
Oh no! Oh no! Now, if you want, we could do a podcast on like just doing a meme review of that iceberg. If
definitely we could.
All right.
Actually, someone on the Nels server made a really huge Xeno iceberg.
Nice.
Really crazy.
But yeah, I think that covers about everything.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we'll move on.
The time for the questions.
Questions, yes. Now,
Should I read them off, or do you want to read them off?
Sure. You can read them out.
Could we do questions really quick?
Yes.
Yeah, we could do them rapid fire.
Unlike last time, we're not going to take a long time. So basically, just take at most 10 minutes, guys. Okay, okay. At most for all of them. So
that's good.
Yeah,
that's good for me.
Yes.
For the first one, T Gundam Samurai asked Malus versus Ganondorf. Who would win?
Who the hell is
easy.
Who is?
Yeah, Malus easy. He's literally a semi-god.
The Triforce of Power has nothing on what Malus can do.
So Ganondorf is a villain in Zelda.
Ganondorf can turn himself into an oversized bull pig.
Yeah, now
That's
this
really all we
question
can
is...
do.
You guys understand the Zelda lore. Only the Master Sword can destroy Ganon.
Now, you could
The
argue
Monado
that
is the Master Sword, don't
Monado
get
is
me
the
wrong.
Master Sword.
Malus is the Master Sword.
So, you know. Da-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
Alright, next question. Let's go.
Worst blade,
rapid
worst
fire.
antagonist, and best titan. By
Worst blade is Shiba. Worst antagonist is
Gort.
yeah, I know. And then best Titan,
Indal, man. Of course, man. Indal. Actually, no. Temperantia, man.
I'm gonna
Don't
say
you love to
Letheria
live there?
because Letheria is such a cool design concept.
For me, worst blade, Dahlia. That's like easy. Dahlia is the
Okay.
worst. I despise Dahlia in every single way.
Dahlia hate is not justified. Just saying.
Look,
Excuse
just
me.
because
Favorite
when someone
blade.
is born with
But
He
okay.
is
Natural-
a sweet blade who's just
Yeah, she
hated
is
for
a
having
sweet-
big boobs.
yeah, she does have a pretty good.
We're gonna
Okay, well, to
get
be fair, her
demonetized
side. Okay,
now.
okay. Look, her side
I mean,
quest
hating kind of like sweet
just
characters.
show
is-
that she's actually a nice character. Like, she just has a big boobs, but I mean, like, she's not a bad person, So, but yeah.
Meanwhile, Shiba is a horrible person.
Yeah, she picks a Nopon. Like, what the hell, man? Divine
Worst
punishment.
Worst antagonist for me would probably be Gort, just because he's nothing
I'd
more
say,
than a muscular
Dougal.
Australian man.
For me, I'd say is Dougal, and I am no fool, and except he is a fool. That
Are
guy
you
is
kidding
just
me?
funny.
Dougal is like he is like
Okay.
he's
He's a
top tier
meme.
performance.
Look. He's a meme, but like as a villain, he sucks.
Special
is funny, but yes.
To what pleasure do we owe this visit? But
Hey.
yeah, it's fine.
Alright, next
question
question.
is Red X asked, "Are Jin and Malus relationship goals?"
Definitely, man.
I definitely
Yeah.
believe that Jin and Malus are, they had something going. They really did.
Yes.
I want someone
But,
to hug me the way
honestly-
Malus hugs Jin
But you
that
have
one
to
scene.
realize that Laura was so upset in that scene. Remember, she just she was there
Yes.
sad, and she got thrown in the boat just like everybody else. Yeah. Next question.
All right.
Willow the Wisp asked, "Do you prefer Jin or Malos?"
I'd say Jin for me. I think Jin was a better character. Because Malos like you feel sad, but like I don't know. I just like Jin more. I'd say.
Depends on what you mean liking them about.
Okay. Well,
I like Jin as a character more, but as a villain, I find Malus more enjoyable.
I agree with that.
I can agree with that too. Because like to me, I felt like Jin. Actually, so when I first played 2, I actually assumed that he was gonna turn good, like in the middle of the game. Like he's that that edgy guy who's actually not a villain, but he just sided with the wrong people. I mean, that didn't happen, but I did get that vibe from Jin that hey, this guy's actually not a bad guy. I mean, it is true to some extent because he does save us, and he does turn good. But yeah.
You
All
thought
right.
he was going to be a permanent party member by the end.
Yes.
Which
but
was
I mean,
not
it's,
the case.
yeah, but I mean, it's okay, but because he's still. I mean, I'd say, his arc does end on a not positive, but like on a good note for him. I'd say, like he got what he wanted by killing, the person that killed Laura. So.
Yeah. I prefer Jin just because I like his character better, and I feel like he's developed a bit more. Even though it's not as even though his motives might not have been as fleshed out, but I still like Jin better. Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know. Now that I think about it,
Well,
you know what? I like them both.
yes.
We'll leave it at
Simple
that.
answer. Yes.
Um,
All right. Next question. Let's go.
Dan asked, "Do you think Nopon? Do you think Nopcon can still channel ether?"
Yes, because the guy who founded Argentum was a Napon, and
Yeah,
Boreas' driver was a Napon at first.
yeah,
Fun fact.
Yeah.
The Nopon driver of
Yeah.
what blade was it? That was
Of Cassandra?
Cassandra. Her the name of that Nopon, I believe, was Nopo Rick, which is also the name of an NPC from Xenoblade 1.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Ooh. So,
I did not
yeah,
know
I mean,
that, but yeah.
that pretty much
I
answers the
could like
question.
name every
Yeah,
Xenoblade 1 NPC.
Oh wow.
Nopon
Okay.
can still channel ether.
Do you
Yes.
remember?
Oh,
Do you remember
and
the one?
Zeke? Actually, you asked this one, but who are your favorite rare blades? Not counting story blades. Are we leaving Torna blades out of this? Because
Well,
Yeah,
those
I
count
was-
as story
I was-
blades.
okay. I would say, Crossset. Crossset and Corvin. I really like both of the. I like both of them. I know they're really broken, but I like.
You like buying the DLC.
No, it's
I like
I
Cosmos.
like Crossset's personality. How she's like the quote unquote ultimate pirate fangirl. How she like she. And even in,
Speaking
like,
of Pyro Fangirl, they should Nintendo would make so much money if they released the best girl fan shirt that Tora can wear as a real shirt that you
yes,
could buy.
absolutely.
Oh my. Okay. What?
But I'm
Okay.
just trying to-
Please no.
I'm
Please
just saying,
don't give
like,
ideas. What the heck, guys? What the heck?
I
man? No.
really
No.
like
Let's not
how
give them ideas.
I like how
I would buy
the-
so many pirate shirts if it existed. If Nintendo
Oh gosh.
let me do that, I'm not even a Pyro fan.
I just like
I mean,
If they
I wouldn't.
gave me
I mean, I don't
easy
think
to
I
get
would buy
Xenoblade
shirts
merch, I would buy
because
it.
the thing is that you see, I don't want to end up being a single person. I do want to try to find a partner and whatnot. And I feel like having a pirate shirt is definitely not gonna help you achieve that goal. So I would not be buying a shirt at least on that.
I would say that I think I like how calm and collected Pyra is, and then how like hyper and like over the top Crossette is. Corvin's he's the good he's like the sassy good boy. I'm just gonna
I
put it
mean,
that
to be fair, he has it right because like his power does, show that hey man, look, I might be sassy and cocky, but I get the job done, and that too swiftly. You
Yeah.
could say that.
I love how Corvin's whole personality is that he annoys the party with how much work he gives them.
Yeah.
He like takes on so much work, and the party is so annoyed at him about it.
Yeah. For me, my favorite one is Cosmos because I just love playing as her. In fact, I did a Cosmos only run, so I guess that shows you that I do like to play as this character, as a blade. So yes.
I have to be that one guy because I played Xenosaga. It's pronounced Cosmos. I know in Xenoblade
Cosmos?
you say
Okay.
Cosmos.
Okay. I'm sorry. I've
In
committed a
Xenosaga it's
hate
pronounced
sin.
Cosmos, and
Yeah.
Well, sorry
that's
sorry
totally
about
fine.
that.
We're
Okay,
not- I mean,
here-
we're not
here's the-
mad.
here's the- here's the big thing that everyone should agree with me on. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 English dub is good, except the only bad part is how they pronounce Cosmos' name.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's Cosmos and not Cosmos.
Yes, it's
Okay.
Cosmos.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that. I guess
The
I'll try to see
pronunciation,
if I can.
I don't remember if it's. I think it's a Greek word. It doesn't come from the word cosmos, like meaning space. It comes from word cosmos, meaning order.
Okay, I see. Interesting.
Yeah. But on to the next.
Hold on, can I say my favorite rare blade really quick?
Go ahead. Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, you didn't even say it. Oh my god, sorry.
It's okay.
It's okay. I'm afraid I just want to give special shout outs to one, Azami. She's really special. Adenine. I just like her design and she's really cool. And Free Florin because he's good. Florin.
I have to say that mine is Agate, just because she's adorable. She doesn't get enough recognition, and you gotta appreciate someone who's like really nerdy about one thing, and she's really nerdy about ores.
All right, moving on to our next question. Thoughts on Al Weaver's performance, which, if any of you don't know, Al Weaver is Rex's voice actor, and he had barely any voice, any acting experience before Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Okay, I think.
If I'm being honest, except for the Rex race car scream, he did okay, except for a couple, miscues with his voice and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think people they do like to just meme and trash on him a little too much. Like yes, I agree that the screams are terrible, but he does have some great moments. Like in chapter 8, I'm not gonna spoil, but basically, there's a scene where he acts very well in terms of voice acting, I should say, at least. So he does do well, and I think it's not his entire fault. It's actually the voice direction's fault. So we can't just blame him, because it could have been this. So they record him saying, "Hey, say ah," and they're like, "Okay, and then they're like, "Yeah, it's good," and then I mean, is that his fault? I mean, or is that the people that told him to say that? Or is that their fault? Because I feel like him as an actor was not so bad. He could have been better, but I mean, he did an okay job, I'd say. It's fine. But it's just a scream which were not good at all. Which I wouldn't say it's his fault entirely.
Yeah. Alright, let's move on to our last non-spoiler question, which is favorite side character. Favorite side character?
This one's interesting. And this question is by Willow the Wisp, also, by the way. Let's see. For me, I'd say I want to say Mui because, and by best I mean like he's just a goofball to me. So that's why he's best in that way. By far,
controversial opinion, if anything.
Yeah, like he's a meme kind of. Actually, sorry. In that case, you could say Dougal, because I do like him as a meme, but I'm like he's funny, or his actions are kind of funny, and he is a side character. He is a villain, but he's not a villain. If anything, he's a side villain, so he counts because he's a side character, and side characters can be side villains.
I feel like Podrag for a meme character, because
oh yeah, that guy.
The colored
forgot about him.
And
I forgot about him. Oh no, I forgot. No, and he told me to not forget him, and I forgot about him. No, I'm serious. I forgot about him.
I would say probably my favorite side character. Oh god, that's kind of hard. Mikhail. No, Mikhail. I think Mikhail is...
In Torna, you mean?
Does he count as a side character?
Because he's technically a main villain in the game, or well, not main, but he's one of the... Well, he's part of Torna, and all of Tornas are the main bad guys.
If Mikhail is too middle-y, then
you could say that.
Then I'll probably... I'd say what do you call it? I think for side characters, God, That's actually really hard now that I think about it. I would say, as much as I'm, come back to me on that. I need to think.
Okay,
really
alright. Alright. Now, so now these next 2 questions are going to be spoiler questions. So we'll give you like 5 seconds. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you can just end the video because there's nothing else to talk about other than these 2 questions. So yeah, so we'll give you 5 seconds. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you have been warned. All right, take it away, soy sauce.
All right, time for our spoiler questions and best song in the soundtrack.
Jerry, you go first.
So I have 2 songs in here, and they're both there for the same reason. Both Land of Moritha and Elysium. And I feel like these 2 soundtracks are the best soundtracks at setting up an environment in any area. Both of them are such great ways when you're going into the area, setting up the atmosphere to feel like this isn't how it should be. And it helps the creepiness of both the areas feel the way it should. And I just can't get enough of reaching those areas and listening to the songs again, especially with Elysium versus the Dream version of Elysium and how different it sounds. But yeah.
I agree with you that yes, I do think those sounds, they fit absolute perfect for the area slash location. But for me, the best song has got to be the Decision. It's the chapter 10 opening because I love that scene and I love that song, and also the Power of Jin is actually a song which is very, very similar to that song, and I love that song too. But I gotta say, I love the Decision more because I don't know, like it just feels more intense to me.
So plays at a much more emotional moment.
My favorites, my favorite is probably Incoming, just because
Coming, nice.
It is just my favorite.
Interesting.
Just to give a few choices that haven't been talked about yet. One, for an obvious choice for someone with my nickname or my username, I love the song "Eye of Shining Justice." I think it is a much better sequel song to the Ricky theme than something like a Noppon's Life would be. I feel that Eye of Shining Justice is a lot more like Hero Upon Ricky than a Noppon Life is. And also, you can't talk about the best of Xenoblade 2 songs without mentioning Roaming the Wastes.
True. Though I have to make a heartfelt confession. I do not like Roaming the Wastes, but yes, I do know a lot of people love that song.
Well, now you're blocked.
No.
Oh no.
But yeah. Anyways, let's let's move on to the last question.
The last question. This is probably.
Now this is a very
this is the one that everybody asks.
Yes.
Pyra.
Actually, fun fact
or
of
Numa.
3 people asked questions very similar. So one was Pyra or Mithra. Who's the best Aegis, and this one. So I just included this as that one is gonna pretty much beat the entire one. Also, I think we forgot to say, but the last question was asked by the Proto King, and this one was asked by Levi Sands, or I think that's how you say your name. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. But
the only correct answer is Mithra.
The correct answer is Numa. The correct answer is
Mithra.
Both.
It's Mithra.
It is all 3, everyone.
It's Mithra, especially Mithra.
Actually, the real answer is it is Ontos. He's the best character, man. I don't know what y'all talking about, but he's the best character.
Yeah,
guys
we all
already
agree
know
it's
my
Mithra.
answer.
Yes, it's Tyrea, right?
Tyrea is the best.
Aegis.
She's the
when
best
it comes to
Aegis, yes.
when it comes to Pyra and Mithra, you really can't. Who is there the same person really? Like, play with milk.
You
Yes.
can't choose because the answer is Mithra.
Yeah. Okay, you wanna know something? Okay, you know what? I'll say this
Tyrea, best girl.
in the after recording, because I cannot say this in the recording at all. Otherwise, I'll yeah, this is something pretty like awful because I just thought of. But yeah. Anyways, that
about
was
to
it
get
for the
canceled.
podcast. No, okay. It's not that bad. It's just something that's cursed. That's all, which I don't want to say on YouTube. Otherwise, I'll get not demonetized, but like basically, YouTube does not like not kid-friendly content. But yeah, so. But anyways,
Yeah, of course.
so anyways, yeah, we'll see you guys in the next podcast. I don't know when it's
Remember
gonna
Tyrea, best girl.
be, but yeah,
No, Mithra.
but yeah.
Tyrea.
All right. So
just ended on that.
any
Call it a
final
draw.
thoughts before we end the podcast? Like anything you guys want to say anything finally, or but yeah.
We'll call it a draw, Zeke. Until next time.
All right. Looks like there's
Tyrea.
nothing else to say, so we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.